Starting coming back with another game of Total War 3 Kingdoms. We're here, the year is 215. We're playing the Liu Chong campaign. The Han is restored. Liu Chong is fallen to the ravages of time. It was a very sad time, but his retinue has been picked up by Liu Tong, the humble Don, who humbly takes over right where we leapt off. He is brilliant, gracious, and perceptive. Very good traits all, and of course, with his trebuchets, juggernauts, imperial palace crossbows, and the like, will be in good shape here. Now, Cao Cao has recently declared war against us, which is shameful and shocking behavior. I mean, you think you know a guy. You think you know a guy, and now this is happening, and it just really throws everything into sharp relief, you know? Like, did he even really like me at all? Or was he just pretending? Well, we don't have to know. All we have to do is make our way clumsily across the river there and get into action. We will drive him here. You know, if he tries to make landfall over here, that would be a little bad. But we can get an army over on... Because we know where his forces are is the advantage of having just, you know, been in charge. He's over on this side, so, like, maybe Liu Bei will be able to deal with him there. And, of course, on this front, Liu Bei now finally has Zhang Fei in an army again. Because I think the brothers... Hey, there's our girl. Guan Yunping is there. But, yeah, the, Guan gets himself into an army, but, yeah, the leader himself can't find an army spot for him. But, you know, we'll probably maybe raise Liu Bei up a bit here. But it looks like, yeah, Chogo's just running out of supplies. When he hits the water here, you know, this is the sea where it takes away the supplies. When they're in here, it doesn't do it to them. But all of that is fine. We're just going to continue onward here. This fool is hardly a thing to worry about. And Lady Wu is a grand excellency there. That would be quite a pickup. Sun Bin's here. That's not his mom. That's like his aunt, I think. But we're gonna just get here on the road, and then we'll get into a position to hit them next turn, perhaps. We're just gonna let Han Dun Ping get in here, because what's the alternative, right? We wanted to take that horse pasture. It was not to be. This place makes negative 43 food. Oh yeah, that's what we don't have here. We don't have the food things. We need an administrator for this place. It should be someone suitable, right? Someone with the know-how and the elbow grease to do a good job. Commerce increasing would be nice enough. Now, who shall we send? Liu He could be good, and then, well, you know, Liu Dai. No, we'll give it to Liu He because Liu Dai is quite old, right? Because he used to live up here and stuff, and he's hanging out with the Lady Hu right now, but we want to get him out of the army because she can't stand him, and this will give him, you know, a plum post far away from her once we deal with these armies, and will, you know, allow us to get this corruption down to more manageable levels ere too long, and try to make a whole bunch of money out of here. That is the dream, that is the plan, that is the ambition. Oh, they went to march. Well, that might have provoked them to move at us. Wasn't really what we wanted to do, though, and now we're going to just make our Grand Silk Road and get this one as well. And here, I mean, the building upkeep is hardly that important. Industry plus peasantry or just industry. I think the industry is where we go here, right? That's where we go. Lean into it, right? We've got a couple of really big cities, and we might as well lean into them. Yeah, they insultingly come right for Chen, right? You know, they think they're going to take advantage of Liu Chong's absence. Alright, so also we need to cancel some of these, because actually what happened is I need to do my council. Very important. Alright, so we will agri economy. That'll make us some money. And then we will send troops against him, level up this army, get a set ancillary, and we don't care about either of those, so that's okay. And the looters are financed. Excellent stuff. And we get the Master's Leather suit of armor, which combines with something. Now we've just gotten the gold armor. Oh, there. But let's just look at it. All right, so it's Constellation. Oh, it gives 25% melee damage to an army. So actually, you know, we might wear that rather than the gold armor, because that's pretty good, right? If we can get, you know, that into an army like this one. No, we would just need a lot of, because it's not AP damage either, but could be pretty good. We could put it on him. Who's wearing the Warblade? We've got one of them. Oh, Gongsu Khan. He doesn't need it. This guy, though, I think is going to be deprecated soon. Well, I mean, anyway, the lady who doesn't like him, which is to say that he may not make it in the grand long term, but we will chase them through the hills here, and no doubt dispatch them. And Liu Dai is just going to swing in here to Shu, which of course does not make money at all, but it is not trying to, you know, we're just trying to judiciary it up, and then we, you know, we're in the middle of a lot of upgrades in a lot of places. Hey, Ellie. So your time has been pretty good today. Haven't missed much. Yes, yes. It's been good to see you all of the times. I wanted to game more today, but I kept, you know, taking little naps. I love a little nap. Alright, so in the spring now, we will be able to cross over the border here. Cross this little spur of the river, which will not upset the Emperor. And then we will just charge up here to Wu Wei. Reasoning that we'll be totally fine. Now here we can... Like, no, we'll wait on the supplies thing if it becomes necessary. I think we're fine there. Soup is also good, but yeah, you know, they talk it up. It's just marketing, right? Chicken noodle soup is just marketing. Alright, more reforms, the best tech tree in any game ever. It's so beautiful. And we're just going for Mandate of Heaven, which means Principles of Wu Wei next. And then we are 2 years away from Mandate of Heaven. We're just getting that just, you know, for the words, you know, not because we need it. Mandate of Heaven is the capstone skill for the Yellow Tree. So it gives you 100 prestige, which is amazing. It also gives you anti-corruption, satisfaction, and lower desire of higher office. So it makes everybody happier, a lot happier actually, and makes us money. But the prestige is sort of not that important. And the admin, I mean, it's fine. Is it, you know, the same as 10% off your guys forever? Well, you know, it's an admin tree. You get admin stuff. And then after that, we'll be able to go down green maybe and get more food and and such. Mandate of Heaven, yes, the Mandate of Heaven is conceptually what all emperors of China are claiming, and that is that heaven has mandated for you to rule the Middle Kingdom. This is a thing that is not intrinsic to a ruler. It can be held by a person and then taken from them, right? If you do a very bad job and there's tons of rebellions and the people don't eat and you're being invaded and you can't defend your borders, you've lost the Mandate of Heaven. It doesn't matter if you are an emperor in the line of 200 years of emperors. People can look at you and be like, you're not favored to run this anymore. You can tell by the way it is. But yes, it's a term that you'll see used for every Chinese dynasty. Basically, it's their stamp of authenticity. But those are the things that it goes along. It's populace being upset, rebellions happening, people having plenty of food, the proper sacrifices being offered in the proper temples, that kind of thing. That all demonstrates that you are supposed to be in charge. So when the Yellow Turban Rebellion happens, which is a major Taoist uprising, happens about 10 years before 10 years before we started in the game, like 180, 182, 184, right in there. They said the Han have lost the Mandate of Heaven. It's not about saying, the Emperor, we shouldn't have an Emperor. It's saying, look, it literally doesn't matter that this guy is of the line of the Hans because they're doing such a crummy job that that's nothing to brag about. But you can't truly be claiming it while other people are claiming it. That's the other thing. There can be only one Highlander, right? So the mere act of somebody else, and that's why the whole Emperor thing is so important whenever it all kicks off. So in this historical time period, Yuan Shu, the guy everybody hates that we attacked at the very beginning of this playthrough and eventually talked, he's the first of the gang of warlords to say, I'm the Emperor. It doesn't work out for him. He starves. He thought it was going to be all right. But he's unable to make contact with his brother in the north, Yuan Shao, half-brother. They didn't like each other at all, but Yuan Shu was going to throw his lot in at the end type of thing. But they weren't able to make contact. And he's like, all right, you'll be the Emperor. Cao Cao didn't say he was the Emperor. He had the Emperor as a puppet for like 25 years in real life. And then after his death, Cao Pi, his son, who became the heir, he wasn't like the original one. That one died. But he basically deposes the Emperor, says, all right, they still gave him a place to live and paid for him and his wives and, gave him food and stuff. But he, rather than being the guy stamping this stuff without having power, he just didn't have any at all. Granted the throne of the gods. See, that's a different thing. That's what we would call, if they did expect the thing with gospel rather than cast it. Yeah, that's sort of Mandate of Heaven-esque. Sort of like Divine Right of Kings plus Mandate. Because the idea is not that anyone ever is divinely mandated to get the Mandate of Heaven. It's more like you're going to look around and realize that you accidentally have it. You'll be like, oh, wow, how did this happen? I'm literally the Emperor. What? And that's what you're supposed to do. And that's why Yuan Shu was cast down. He got too hasty, right? And Cao Cao, in real life, right, rightfully understood that by claiming himself to have the Mandate of Heaven, he would have to defend that proposition. It's much safer for you as a warlord to say, I'm doing warlord stuff and I'm trying to do the right thing for the Han, than it is to say, the Han is over, their decrepit husk has been cast down, the age of them is done, the yellow sky is upon us, like the Yellow Turbans did. Good things army supposed to be guys. More like, I have looked around and noticed that I run everything, so why don't we call me an Emperor? Rather than, I've been appointed to this position. Basically, nobody thought that when they started running a dynasty. That sort of delusional, that's always like a little further on, almost everybody who founded a Chinese dynasty was a very clear-eyed person about their position when they started, not like later on in their reign, but yeah, more like bad things are happening to the previous power structure. I have moved in and things went perfectly for me, therefore I am blessed by the gods. And sometimes people's advisor would be like, I think you should be the emperor, and they'd be like, you know, the Julius Caesar thing. They're like, oh, no, that's not a great idea. Come on now, I'll just be a normal guy. Dao Wu has come of age. Liu Xie has come of age. Is that my daughter? Liu Chong's daughter? Let's see. Pacifist, tough and vain. I think it's her. Yes, our beautiful daughter has grown up. Is it time for her and her madre to get into an army? Oh, I think so. Now, Liu He is no longer really needed here, is he? He can go home and administer his commandery. Let's put some good administering stuff on him real quick, though. We don't really need the public order for the commandery, which is fine. We'll be fine. We'll just take this. And if we do this, we can get more commerce income, which seems fine. Yeah, none of these other ones are really helping too much with the individual place, so that's good. Put that on him, and he can head on up. Lucas, her question there was like for a new guy thinking he could be the emperor. But yes, the loss of the Mandate of Heaven is always because you're doing a bad job, not because some other guy should be the emperor. That's never how you look at it. Yeah. There we go. Also, hello, Luke. We have made Liu He the administrator of Jincheng, you know, because he came up here and married Yalu, I think is how the whole story went. I think it was up here. He could have been over in this area. I'm not really sure where Yalu's from. But speaking of, this fool, Cao Jin, has, you know, has offended us greatly. And Cao Wang will arrive to push him off. Say, you scoundrel, how dare you attack the lands of the Prince of Qin? And I'll be like, ah, no. And here, even though this is an easy auto battle, you know, we have to rail against them, right? We have to go onto the battlefield to rail against them. Cao Chen, you Warden of the West, how dare you, sir? If that is your real name. Yeah, the river has nothing to do with it. Yeah, the rivers are geographical constructs, not like metaphysical ones. Us having the Emperor so obsessed with the river is entirely a me thing, because I thought it would be a good story hook, and also harkens back to the loss of his brother and mother in that same river, which does happen historically. An important river moving all around would be interpreted as, well, yeah, you have natural disasters. The Yellow River floods unpredictably and will cause people occasionally to be like, oh, you've lost the mandate. But it's more like, if you can respond to a natural disaster properly, it's not like even the worst flood is going to be like, oh, he can't be emperor anymore. It's when somebody loses the Mandate of Heaven, right? There are so many small weights upon that scale. Yeah, any natural disaster. Exactly. And what you'll do is, you know, you'll you'll have some advisor tell you what's wrong, you know, and they'll be like, oh, you gotta do X and Y. Speaking of X and Y, oh, it's about to be a party up in here. Why? The army of the Emperor! The Imperial Army, led by Liu Xie and Huang, in whom he is well pleased. Oh, it's about to be a brawl up in here. Do you see this, Luke? 91% evasion on my Imperial Sword Guard. It's gonna go up to 101 with Imperial Solidarity on. A pretty good number. Oh, we are gonna rock these fools. Got White Horse Raiders out of Jiaochan. Speaking of Jiaochan, of course, we've got her blossoming beauty to make everybody happier. I think she's a spy, but that's fine. Yeah, I know, right? That's how you do it, Luke. That's how you get it done. Everything coming together. Xu Huang, of course, you know, buffs some, and the Art of War buffs some, and his title buffs some, and the Bodyguard buffs some, and pretty soon you're talking real money. Blessed by the very hand of the Emperor. It's about to be a party. Having to see Liu Xie up north since Lady Wu's. Lady Wu is here, yeah. Lady Wu is in the north, but I know that's not who you meant. But yeah, Lady Wu is up there. Oh, right, yeah. You meant there, not here. Yes. Indeed! Alright, so, let's get to it. You know, her trebuchets aren't going to be able to make contact, so we're just going to have them retreat. White Horse Raiders getting a little shot up there. We're just going to back out a little bit. And Xu Huang wonders if there are any worthy of a fight here. But Liu Tong wants a duel too. I wonder how brave Cao Chen is. Ah! A brave man can be found in Wei. He's gonna get mauled. We're not worried about it. But, good for him, right? Of course, he'll have 100% evasion for a bit. I'm not worried about it. Gong Su Fan, you want to duel Liu Tong? Yes. Very well, I accept. Liu Tong's gonna beat the brakes off him. It's gonna be crazy how well he does. They might be Oathsworn. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about any of this. Obviously, we dramatically outnumber them. This is about... Now, this is about justice. This is about defending Chen, because these fools, these cretins, these absolutely despicable persons have attacked the very patrimony of the Prince of Chen. And we knew the Liu Tong is gonna murder him. His weapon's one of the best weapons in the game. Liu Xun? You wanna duel Liu Xun? Honor forbids. But yeah, Liu Tong's weapons are the Avengers, which are the best weapon in the game, maybe, for dueling. It gets you to 100% melee attack rate after a bit, which is just a lot of melee attack rate. It's a lot of percent. Jiaochan got a little embroiled here. We need to get in this way, and of course we're just... Yeah, you want to go? Yeah, very well, I accept. Liu Tong, very pleased to show off in front of his father, is rolling in, while Zhu Hong is very gradually winning this fight. Look, we all like to work at our own pace, right? Heavy spear guards, let's get out of there. It is a silly place. Where are Wuhan guys? Oh, they're chasing them down. You know, this is such a bully fight. I don't care. You know, we needed this. They came into our land, onto our turf. Why would we see Nolly Ferris running? Ah, yes, yes. And we haven't seen him yet either. But that's if Lady Wu lasts very long, because Liu Xie is quite on the wrong side of the river for it. And Liu Tong emerges victorious, of course. Was there ever any doubt? His weapon's real good. For all that he doesn't have, you know, good evasion or anything, he's got decent armor, and the weapons are really good. I almost wish we hadn't given them to him. They're so good, cause like we could give him to somebody else, but no, he deserves it. You know, it's not every campaign where you get to use the main character's kids, right? Even never be destroyed. Exactly, and the other groups up there dealing with it, and Sun Bun is up there also. He's the one in the army that's close to him. And he's not Lady Wu's kid, right? He is her nephew. But he'll be able to, you know, have a family meeting about it, at least. Speaking of the Suns, we want to get like a 3-stack of the Sun family up on the river now. You know, they're going to be anxious to prove themselves, you know, to the Emperor. They're gonna be like, man, stuff's really popping off. We probably want to like ask for a command. Probably just 2 of them in one army though, and not 3. Cao Zhen, obviously, you've got to go. These are all traitors and rebels of the worst kind. The era of sparing these fools is over. Cao Cao should know better, and all of his family should know better. And anyone working alongside of them should know better. Now you may ask, you probably don't care, but am I gonna spare anybody in the Duchy of Wei? You already know the answer. Yes. Obviously, if it's a particularly special boy, my favorite boy, I will have no choice but to release him until he joins me someday. But everybody else is on the block, okay? We're gonna show them the twisted white silk. We're gonna show them the short sword. Zuchu or wife still moment. Indeed. Exactly. Exactly. Well, Cao Cao, there goes Cao Zhen. See how much you care about your family now. But anyway, with our troops are also amazing, right? So it's not just that these guys are incredibly evasive, but they also have 10 bonus AP increasing their armor piercing from, 15 to 25 is crazy from our 2 weaponsmiths. And Zhang Liao is moving on the heels, trying to get up to Cao Cao here. Who is, now trying to make landfall. But this army, although it needs to replenish some, is going to go to march because we need to get, Zhu Huang and Luo Jun know that they need to get into action immediately. Do we need more in the north here? Yuan Shao, that old swine, is moving in across again. Xue Liju. We've released him a couple times now. The next time is the last for him. And in fact, the Emperor has directed that the era of sparing the forces of Wei and Song has come to an end. Unless and accepting the capturing general has a deep bond of friendship or oath-sworn nature or family, in which case there could be exceptions. But to the House of Yuan and the House of Cao, there can be none. Cao Wang can get somebody else to kill his dad if we capture him, but he doesn't get to release him. We're not going to make him do it. That's not nice, right? It's not, And we're just chasing him very stupidly here. Huang Zhong is like, I'm an old man, how can you get me doing this? And he's like, actually, it's not so bad. The trees. Alright, and indeed, Ma Chao does roll up the Lady Wu there. But here, I'm quite happy to have this army just defending. I'll use an army to defend 5 faction-wide AP damage forever. It's worth it at this stage. When you have 15 armies, that AP damage, I mean, it's just a huge, huge boon. I mean, look at the Chen Peacekeepers. 33, that's like shot cav numbers. I mean, the charge bonus is low, but they're so good. They're so good. Speaking of so good, it is time to drop Liu He so he can go to the north there. And who do we want to get here? Do we get her daughter? Well, after all, who better to teach her how to rock out in the field than her darling mother? You know, they love each other. It's all very moving stuff. We're just going to go red cav here. All red cav. A couple of saber cav won't go amiss. Get a bodyguard for her, of course. Speaking of, it's time for the prince to get himself a retinue also.
大人有何吩咐？
Just move the family along there, yeah.
满怀信念，奋力一战。
准备急行军。
我的目标十分明确。
And of course, there is much harmony in the family band. The prince and his younger sister, their mother, all together here. This does make Song's position a little awkward. Indeed, in that it would be more comfortable for him if he were fighting on a different front. But in recognition of that, we will move him to the Yuan River so that he's unlikely to run into his father.
心有所欲，因而导之。万物失节。
For it's not that we mistrust him. And then we will give, but, you know, it's good to keep an eye, and we will put a representative of the Sun family with him? Somebody he doesn't know. Somebody that'll have to worry about. Someone... Someone that can be trusted to watch over him and keep him in line, right? Do we have any such people that are unengaged? Huang could do it. Liu Xie is worth an order. Ah, yes, that would be good then. Like, Chicken Rib Guy doesn't get along with the no friends of Cao Cao. All right. Huang Xian is the wife, that's right, yes. Well, then it would make sense to have them traveling along. And together they can keep an eye on Sawang. For while you may be a trusting warlord, you don't want to be true trusting. And we'll give him the G of Heavenly Mandate. No, we'll... That's too lofty for him. Why not a nice family spear? That reminds me, there's the matter of the crossbow. Do we give it to the prince who gets everything, or do we give it to the second son who had been, you know, adopted by the emperor as his heir, who, you know, will be getting enough wonderful things, we can assume? Assignments continue to roll in. There we go. The Office for Archives and Seals. Just what we want to see. And here in Chen. Our work continues apace. So now we know, thanks to the Lady Wu telling Ma Chao, by a roundabout way, we know that the Jugas are upset. Probably because, yeah, they just don't have anywhere to go, and they're too high of level now. But we are quite desirous to have all the spies from Cao Cao that we can at this point. Alright, Cao Cao's there, and then on this front we just... You know, we can't abandon the fight against corruption just because this war is kicked off. We'll have to try to juggle all of it, right? That's what the ministers are there for, is to determine how to juggle best. And we're just diving in the dark here. Like, Xian is really good at this. Yeah, she has... If you get evasion for things, then yeah, there we'll scout the province. I'm not in the slightest worried about this army getting jumped. If they do jump it, what are they going to do? They're going to find Han Xian, Liu Xie, and Jing Daorong. What are they going to do? Bring 2 armies? Will 2 be enough? Doubt it. This looks like they took Zhu Chu and put a little hat on him, a little bow. I don't mind. He looks different enough. I just know that pose a little bit. This is my boy. I'm like, hey, that's not you. Yellow turbans taking the mountains there, so it seems that all is not well here in the lands of Yuan Shao. And of course, this group of looters looks like they might well be not... No, they're besieging it from the water. I don't know. But our Korean vassal is doing well. Gongsun's on. You know, still kicking. You know, we found him a nice, safe place to live. And with Korea becoming vassalized in these 3 factions, now it's easy for them to harry Yuan Shao on that edge, which would be a great strategic situation if it weren't for the dastardly Cao Cao. But I'm sure he has complaints enough about me. We'll have to grab this one. We're going to be running into some weird military supply issues. It's fine. We'll be fine. This army gets -1s because of Dongli. I don't mind. It's alright. I don't think any of these help. No. We'll get this officer anyway. She doesn't need a bodyguard for the whole retinue. Why not a devious attendant? So we can give him the towers. And then give the bodyguard to... Oh, it won't let me. Maybe we got it. I tried to click off into the distance there. Oh, well, you know, that was not what we meant to do. We meant to go... It's fine. We'll rotate it over later. This army is such an expensive way to be doing this task. Let's make it cheaper, right?
想问点什么？冷静沉着。
I think we fought him not long ago, but anyway, you can see that he is upset. Most aggrieved. Hate that for him, honestly. Like, I just feel terrible that he feels so bad. Looks like Liu Bei is running out of money. Yep, looks like he's bankrupt, all right. Oh, he probably took this, I don't know if he had that all along, actually. Maybe Liu Bei just overextended some. Well...
别来无恙。
The Emperor will give him a rebate.
心怀坦诚，则你我牢不可破。
For his forces for a time. And, you know, see if that helps. And Zhu Rong is, like, old and out of favor with the court, but, you know, he leapt at the chance to defend Chen and was not refused. Alright, so that does this turn, that does that, because that's the south, and we've already moved over here and here and here. Yes. Yes, indeed. And then the family band can roll on together. Oh, she gets to level 8. Well, you know what that means. It means next turn we'll give her some sick Imperial units. Like a Juggernaut. Maybe 2 Juggernauts. Because while the Royal Guard is nice here, you know, now that Prince Liu Ji is here to have some Royal Guard, you know, maybe it's time to let the lady party. Because where's Cao Cao gonna go? If he goes into my land, then... I mean, he could take a miner or something. But... looks like Kong Rong is going to hit Xiahou Yuan over there. You know, we're all... looks like Xiahou Yuan beat the brakes off Kong Rong. That makes more sense. You want to know what his plan was? I know. I think it was just that he... You know, the thing is that even if he thought Liu Chong somehow was taking an outsized role in power, and that with his loss and Liu Ji's loss, even though they hadn't been in excellency positions in some time, that this was like the time to strike. Yeah, exactly. You know, he just bad advice. Because it's so reckless, too. His armies weren't in position. But yeah, maybe that he could, like, you know, move on in and kidnap the Prince of Qin and, like, take Qin and, like, trade on the psychological damage of that to the Emperor to try to, like, you know, get a better deal. But he falls right in with Yuan Shao. By the way, I did notice that he had Yuan Yi in his forces, like, last year, and we were already thinking, that's suspicious. Oh, and it was. But it looks like Cao Cao is just going to float on down the Yangtze. We'll see how that works out for him. Oh. I just recruited him. Well. Looks like Cao Cao lost a guy. It's not, I mean... Oh no, I can't believe that happened to my spy who I was real concerned about. Oh no. There you go, now that that's out of the way. Looks like Cao Cao's just eliminated a problem for him. Some peoples of merits. Nothing that matters over much. Alright, I'm just going to take a short break real quick and get a Mountain Dew, and I will be right back. Sometimes the character is dead, becomes recruitable and charcoal. Maybe that's what happened. Because I thought we had just killed him. I thought, you know, didn't we just execute that guy? You know, didn't we just execute that guy? Yeah, because Cao Zhen was there, and then that was the other guy that was with him that we popped. Yeah. Now I remember. Well, some spy he was. He was still walking around, checking with his head cut off. Anyway, I'll be right back. I'm going to get a Mountain Dew. Just a couple minutes. All right. Once more into the breach. All right, so as we were doing, we were chasing this guy with this army, and we finally catch him. Huang Zhong, glorious! He is quite old now too, which is too bad, because he would go great in a huge artillery army. Now, these people are not under the same interdict as the others. Li Xie, this is probably the Zhue's kid, or relative in some sense. I like his mustache. We'll have him join up. We'll see what he can do. So he gets access to dragons at 6? Do you get it at 6 whenever you become emperor? Maybe. Anyway, this army with its excellent movement. Yeah, we're just gonna march towards Wu Wei because, you know, they'll
连结
they'll run out of
纷争
supplies. What are you gonna
受
do?
苦难
Yeah, I think the thing to do is no, we'll go here and into March, and then we'll be able
振
to.
作起来，向前进军。
Yeah, we'll at least be able to take it in the winter, and then these guys will.
正在行进。
Run this way and run out of supplies in the winter. And these fools are going to try to come here, but Liu He is already on his way to get here. We need to admin office, and we want to raise like the Sun army up here. There we go. And she's gonna be like,
天下数
my
可
husband, that useless guy, well, he's a court noble at Yotu. Yotu. Who is this guy? No, that's... He's got the... Where does he live? Over here somewhere. Does he have any lands? I guess he's not working for Tongji anymore. But now that we know, now that we have his wife, it was Tongji. It was, but
有必要吗？
you know, the mouse thing said there that it had moved. Because through character spying, right? Because you can just search, bam. Which I totally did not notice until a little bit ago. But yeah, Shenzhen, and then you can hit the old details, pull them up, and see nothing about them. No, it won't tell you where he is. But her screen said that
利于
he,
安民
court noble of Yotu, there is what it says, but...
我可没心情。
I was like, does he have the ancillary in the pool? No.
"真是浪费时间。
Alright. Liu Ting, this is Liu Zhong's family member, daughter, maybe daughter, yes. We'll get to Mandate of Heaven pretty soon. That'll be good. We just want to make sure Liu Yong has the desirable assignments at the moment. This is what matters the most after all. One being a surplus markets, which is desirable enough. The Emperor counteract corruption, of course. The most important thing is to counteract corruption. And we have tons and tons of reserves here, so another one of these won't hurt, and then we will hit the income. And the income. I love assignments. They're so cool. I, never used them when I started, like many things in the game, and then now I think about them all the time, and sometimes even use them. And here, we're just trying to get our lower level guys and getting them on good assignments to get them levels, which happens real quick now with all of our stacking bonuses. Speaking of Grand Academy and Granary here at the capital, this isn't for like maximizing the income, it is for maximizing the goodness. And then, before we spend all of our money here, we might wait. We might. Alright, what's going on? Where are the lines drawn? Cao Cao is fleeing up the river here. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. See if it works out for him. Yuan Shao is, doing his best to fight there, so we will move these armies of not exactly heroes, but respectable folk along the way, and then need another person here. Alright. Who's blue that's cool? Like, I think all these women are kind of too old for you, so the falling in love angle doesn't matter. Alright, chicken rib guy. Doesn't like Zhurong. That's fine. We already go a little slow, and that's okay too. No cav in the army. Oh, yeah, basically no cav. It's fine. More siege train stuff is cool for this point in the campaign anyway. Speaking of cool for this point in the campaign, we're just going to move. The thing about Huang, right, is he lets his army go so far. And Cao Cao has just abandoned this land here, but Zhang Liao will be able to roll it up, and then we will, of course, distribute it to a local vassal, because we don't want that land. We only want this land, which is right where we have it right now. We're just going to stay inside, and Suting, the gentle ember. She's got flower on the battlefield. The coolest thing. The funniness of, like, these non-men just being total menaces in the back of his land and him, like, just being like, ah, whatever, we'll deal. Love that. Alright, so we need to build up Shu, but in what way? We need to... Well, I think the art... Yeah, I mean, some... Do we really have that many generics where we need the armor, though? There's a few sets that would be nice to get more of, and we feel like we get tons of weapons comparatively. Yeah, why not an armor crafter? Alright, here. Jump in this, and then we're a little broke-see now, but not terribly. We just need to... level up this school, I guess, because, you know, learning's got to continue. And the more we learn, the easier it is to continue on, right? Knowledge is, you know, knowledge, and power is power, and money is money. I forget the syllogisms. You know, they make you sound smart when you get them right, though. They sure do.
我已归来，欢呼吧！
-5 corruption adjacent known commanderies. Oh, that's amazing! She's so good at this. We love Lady Wu, of course. And the Angry Scolding's a very good debuff in that it drops their speed by 85%. So just like a super strong thing. Love her.
一统天下。
Get Sun Hao here. He reduces enemy military supplies by 25, which is so crazy. That's really, really strong. Very often politically married in your faction, even though it basically never makes sense to do so, yeah. Like, hey, Sun-So, I married your mom. Speaking of, so I'm on, like, chapter 30 or 31 of Romance now. Romance of the Three Kingdoms, that is to say. I always call it Romance. And I'm like, that makes it sound like I'm reading a smutty book. We had a shelf of those at the library. We didn't even, like, shelve them, right? We just did it by author's, like, last name. Like, oh, the A's are there. The ladies will pick through them. Not important. But yeah, you know, got to the death of Sun-So. And let me tell you, burning down a temple, like, really doesn't make me super sympathetic. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. This is why I didn't really think he was that cool. I mean, I get it that he didn't like yellow turbans and stuff, but he went, like, super far. And literally everybody was just like, you know, in the story, who knows how it happened, but if they're like, no, this guy's nice, and he's like, no, I've had it. I've had it. You know, we're not entertaining this. But what a great part of the book. Impressive, yes, cool, not indeed. But yeah, it's what a great part of the book, you know. Guan Yu just being like a total champ there. Like, it's no wonder that I love him with propaganda like that book, you know. Sure, it was written 1,200 years after Guan Yu died, but some say he's still alive, you know. But when he leaves all the gifts, when he's leaving, like, except the horse. Obviously, he's not going to leave red hair. When he gets all the gifts, and Cao Cao's like, why doesn't he think it's cool? And he gets the horse, and he's like, I can go get to Liu Bei in like a day with this horse.
我们的对话结束了。
And he's like, no. But it's about to be winter, and they'll be in my land with -25 military supplies on top of that. So I actually think Sun Hao, for that reason, is really, really good for, like, being a forward commander, right? You know, because you can just stick him anywhere, and then suddenly you've made it incredibly difficult for the enemy to go, especially in the somewhat early game, because I don't think he comes of age until, what, like 195 or something. But, the finest armor, an exquisite weapon, a new weapon forged. We get, oh yeah, all sorts of nice stuff. And a special farmer shows up, so people get some nice traits. Yeah, and Hucha would have been associated with Li Zhu's faction, right? Yeah. The hulking hitman, so he'll be He'll be a good one to hang out here with the Suns and make sure they continue acting cool. Because you never know. Peasant band. Peasant band. I think it's a little more humility than we needed. Does she have handmaid guard? No, she has Chong Raiders. Good enough for me. Oh, she's already got a yellow dragon. Man, look at her retinue. It's like a total me thing. These raiders are not... I mean, they're fine. The thing about them is they don't have, you know, the thing that I want in the world. Which is axes. The Wuhan. That's pretty cool stuff. Now here... Alright, it's autumn. Autumn before winter, so we won't be running out of supplies here, actually. The Grand Commandant will take it just in time for winter. And while we will run out of supplies next season, we'll be right up here to... Oh no, we can, No, that won't help, because we're running out anyway. We're running out anyway, so we'll just move forward. And then when the hostile terror... You know, we'll work it out. Running out of supplies in the north is, you know, a classic. Now with this army, however... You know, if y'all wanna meet up with these guys, they're gonna give you more trouble than you can get. You know, for free. I think what we want to do here is move to ambush, right? Because this land is controlled from here, and this, yeah, all of this approach is controlled from this one, so our military supplies will be fine. And I think we might be able to catch them out here. And of course, these are brawlers, and we've got tons of cavalry to deal with that. Won't be, yeah, they don't really have too much here, right? Some decent stuff, but... Move up that way, and of course, every time we get better armies or the slightest bit more land, we lose more money. But that's okay. Cao Cao is having a me thing happen to him right now as he runs out of military supplies. We'll just grab this real quick. Because the thing is that Cao Cao here is without military supplies, and he probably can't pop this garrison for all that. You know, they might have actually come out and hit him, but yeah, he's very, very beat up. I could definitely win this fight, right? Because the computer's not good in a siege, and towers are good against generals. Sima Yi is there with Zhu Chu, who should join me. We've released him twice. And obviously, I'd release him 10 times more if Minty would come over to my side. Zhou Yu is fighting with Cao Cao, a very sad day for us, and indeed the world. I don't know what these guys think they're gonna do, but you know, we'll have some saber infantry to stand up to them. Actually, we can... Eesh. Oh, he gets a Pyrrhic victory for it? I mean, probably were. I mean, I guess we could manually do it, but it's getting late, so, you know, we got like one more fight in us. I didn't want it to be this one. But we probably should have just not taken the fight, right? Because now we go back here. They can still get in. Yeah, that was dumb. We shouldn't have done that. Very silly. Oh yeah, they've got poison volley and stuff. These are bandits, after all. Well, that was real dumb, and we might be losing our very valuable thing here. Let that be a lesson to me. But you know, you never know. Well, Zhang Liao could go and get it back. This is what you get for treating an early game army with level 3 people like a late game army with level 8 people, you know. And then on the very grounds, or at the base of the Grand Temple City of Confucius, we meet Cao Huang and his army. Will this be the end for him? If we catch him.
他们流毒无穷，危害天下。敌人知道他们要面对的是谁吗？鼓起勇气，准备好了，顽强不屈，准备开战，逃命听命。老兵注意，顽强不屈，挺住，结队，赶快。
Oh wow, look at where we're coming from. Amazing. After all, it's not like we're afraid. Anybody want to go? Yeah, very well, I accept.
看我取你首级！做好准备。
But the thing is that they haven't considered is when they make contact with our lines, we're gonna delete them. And Zhu Hong is just mauling him, obviously. And the Imperial Sword Guard eat the charge like champions. And we get right onto the Jade Guard. As the Prince shows up and saying, "Don't fear, we're here." Should we duel this guy? I'm gonna go with yes. The Prince doesn't have, like, resilience, but I bet he'll win. I bet he'll win because we've got plenty of assistance. He's got a better weapon anyway, and this guy isn't that juiced in stats. But of course, we will just go ahead. And his mother will shout encouraging words at him, saying, "Baby, you got this. You're like the unyielding earth, and he will fall before your mighty gaze." Oh, hopefully he's not oath-sworn. I don't think he is. It's friend, though. You know, hopefully he's not gonna get a benefit from that. We charge in here. Huang is emerged victorious. Well, he did get a little boost from it, but I'm sure that it'll be fine. Lady Sai, you want to duel my daughter? Yeah, fine.
友军正在遭受攻击，准备就绪。烧呀！放箭，准备射击，发射，烧！准备开战，动作快点！不要留情，加快脚步。
You know, even if they're oath-sworn, I'm sure we'll be able to make the difference, right? The Chen Peacekeepers here are doing great. And of course, there are lots and lots of cav to jump on now as our forces make contact.
快跑！进攻！片甲不留，杀光敌军！不要留情，准备好了，蛇骨断金！
注意，速速前进！
And, you know, anxious to help out, the lady who shouts some encouraging words to her children as they are engaged in duels. She knows this is the way of the world, and, you know, not every boy thrown to the wolves becomes a hero. But with our, I have a lot of, oh yeah, Zhu Huang, let's get in there, buddy.
离胜利又近了一步。
Yu Longqie beats down Lady Sai. She's like, "You old woman, shouldn't you be at home with your grandkids?" To which Lady Sai says, "You impertinent young woman, how dare you speak to me that manner?" And the Yu Longqie just hits her with an axe and says, "You,
到底是无胆鼠辈。
you, whose marriage to Liu Bao is the greatest shining part in your whole life. You dare to speak to me in such a manner."
准备开战，鼓起勇气，
She spares her with 400 hit points and says, "Get out of my sight."
赶快，快跑！加快速度，动作快点！做好准备。
And Prince Liu Xie is fighting Li Dian, who is, you know, a bit of a hero. And, you know, a Sentinel v Sentinel fight is always lasting 100 bouts. But, you know, the victory is all the sweeter there. And, of course, boom. Nothing like Diao Chan. You know, if you get Diao Chan plus other reducers, you know, anybody that reduces move ability cooldowns, pretty good.
杀光敌军！快点儿，准备就绪！杀呀！尽情厮杀！
快跑！冲啊！
And as we charge them down here, you know, he's trying his best. He doesn't have tenacity of steel. If he did, it would be pretty good. But Blossoming Beauty doesn't help him because, you know, Sentinels don't have the click damage attacks anyway. He's just got a regular weapon and, you know, better armor than me. He swings a lot. My armor is the Master's Attire, but it's not like that great. And we don't have this paired resonance. I don't actually know the item that it's on. I sure would like to get it one day.
顽强不屈！
But the thing is about his evasion and what we've been doing with just the small amount of heals from Blossoming Beauty is he's been engaged in this duel for ages and is not falling, which is very good, you know, right? As the army goes around him, the prince engages in combat, his first duel of his whole life with Li Dian. As his mother helpfully watches on, she says, "You got him! Don't you worry about him." And after finally connecting a little bit, he heals up again. It's like, we're actually gaining hit points in this duel, right? I think that was honestly like a 10-minute duel, something like that. It was a long duel. There you go. We claim victory. It's ours. After fighting 200 bouts, Liu Xie stood victorious. Surely his forefathers watch over him and guide his mighty hand. With tenacity of steel, that would have went a little quicker. Wisdom of the river, of course, would have been the real thing. Wisdom of the river is what you use to win duels. Everything else you use to stay in them longer. Lady Sai. Your life is forfeit, not just for anything that happened today, but for your marriage to Liu Biao, who is a traitor, and you running to Cao Cao, who is a traitor. Thus always to the enemies of the Han. Oh, he was in March. That's what made it tougher. They were in March. That makes sense. It's like, I can't believe it took that long to win, even so. But chicken rib guys there, and you know, for all that we might lose something over here, it's not the end of the world to have a major setback in one arena, especially given all the not setbacks we've been having. Alright, next up, the winter. Yeah, but we'll just move up the road here to support. Either they take it over and then we'll be right there, or they'll back away, or we'll get to have a fight. Either way, we win. Oh, Liu Xie and the lady who became friends. Huang and Daochan, Liu Xun and Daochan, everybody's friending up, you know, now they're able to see clearly how great of a lady the lady who is. Like, one of these places isn't going to have a counteract corruption, and that means it's time for Karen to go. Sure, this army will be fine. Okay, so this inspector is really quite good. -5 corruption to local commandery is amazing, because you can just put that on a guy and park him there. Or a lady. Right, yeah, everything is arrayed. Now it is just time to spend a little cash. It's the huge malice of their movement range can't really be overstated in power, you know. Maybe it doesn't matter that much, but whenever I think about our enemies trying to move through it, I am heartened to know. That one's not as important in that area, though. Yes, more food. That will get us what we need. Because we actually need a bunch of food. It may look like we have plenty, but I would like to upgrade, like, all of our buildings again. Everywhere! Tingyi gets to level 9. And that'll get us the another army. Not that it matters, because he is the general of the Standard and the Prime Minister. Old Unyielding Earth there. I love Unyielding Earth. It's gotta be one of my favorites. Oh, it was his bodyguard that took it away. I'm like, where did our numbers go? That's not the number I recall. Yuan Shao is here. You know, perhaps he will see Cao Long alone on the riverbank and think this is the time to make his move. But I think the Cao family is going to regret the move they've made here. Xiahou Yuan is partying with Cao Ren. That blue blade would be nice. Plenty of people in my family that would like that blue blade. Time for winter. Let's see what the winter gives us this time. And since we're giving Liu Bei a discount on his payments to the Han, you know, maybe you'll be able to stand up against Cao Cao a little bit. You know, like in the book, for a little bit of time. I like when he becomes the gardener, though. That one feels good. Gongrong is now at negative food. We should help him. Ah! We're in March and they hit us with the night battle. You know what? I'm not that worried about it, though. I've got a feeling that even with their pretty decent army here, we'll be able to make something of ourselves. Have you ever met Lu Bu? Song Jian, perhaps you have heard of them. This auditor, I very much want, though. 15% income and -5 corruption would be awesome. The Hoarder of Sources, those guys have the bomb arrows, I see. Very short range, though. Well, we can't retreat, so... I always forget Night Battle, right? I always forget that the computer can do it. And then when they do it, I'm like, why didn't I remember the Night Battle? Alright, he's got 80% missile shield. That's a lot of missile shield. Let's just take the shots at the cataphracts then. Are they hitting at all with these? Well, they're shooting at them. Like, I'm not afraid of y'all. I'm not smart enough to get scared. I just know the longer our guys shoot at them, the better off we're gonna be. You want to duel Lu Bu? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think you should. We'll throw a little tantrum onto him. That'll help. She's like, no, don't get hurt, Dad! They're really brother and sister according to the adoption, but, you know, that's not how she looks at it. Get Dongbai out here. Oh man, she's getting tuned up there. Let's get her out of there, huh? That would have been the shot cavalry, no doubt. Turn her around and get in. Lu Bu has emerged victorious, which is very surprising. Honestly, I can't believe it. Shen Peacekeepers doing super good here, using all their ammo. But then we're going to get off of our horse because Song Jian is not going to get downed otherwise. But here their cav is doing terribly and engaging way ahead of the rest of them. Which is, of course, just what we want to see. Like, oh, it sure is terrible that they did a lousy job. Oh no, Dongbai, what happened? She must have got caught by some... Oh, probably these cataphracts. Okay, well, you know, she'll get better. She's fine. Crucially, their hoarders of sources are just like hanging out back
敌军士
there.
兵正在溃逃。
And if you want to wait to engage with your bomb arrows, well, I bet you don't actually want that. Get the cav around the back here and get these fools. Yeah, because we need to get onto them right now, or I think we're going to see our troops start melting a bit. Right now, they're shooting into their own guys some.
准备好冲锋了吗？
But we definitely don't want to see something with 300 explosive damage fire at us. I've played Warhammer. That's a Warhammer unit. I know a Warhammer unit when I see one. These Azure Dragons are going to absolutely get melt as they run into the crossfire of repeating crossbows. Yeah, get wrecked, buddies. But here, rather than take shot after shot, you know, Lu Bu is going to get in and do a very solid job at convincing these fools that they never needed to mess with us ever again.
我军士兵正在四散而逃。
Repeating crossbows, getting very nice shots in there. Speaking of nice shots, these these Axe Band inexplicably moving from what would have been a good engagement. Still a very good fight. You know, having Lu Bu does make things a bit easier on you, doesn't it? Oh, goodness. And of course, my archers now electing to run into them because I told them to fight those guys like a year ago. And they're like, fight them forever, of course. But there's the back line taken care of. And then, of course, we don't have to win this battle handily. Lu Ji's army is still in totally fine form and besieging the town, which they'll take next turn, and we'll be fine. Why is their army not attacking? I think it was because their flank was having a problem and they were dealing with that. Because their army was attacking, they were just engaged with their pretty considerable cavalry ahead of the rest of it. But here, much of our army is running away now. That's never good to see. Oh, so for 10 minutes they don't have fatigue. That's pretty rough. And we're in March, of course. Otherwise, we would have tuned them up a little better. But still, we deal with them. Lu Bu has lost red hair, but that just means he's going to be real good at hitting these Azure Dragons now. And they immediately run away. They're like, oh, well, if he fell off of his horse, now we're really in trouble. And then, you know, there Lu Bu gets to valiantly and gallantly defeat people. Dong Bai's bow and arrow didn't really match up well there, right? You know, because that's the thing about a bunch of yellow cavalry or jade dragons, you know. When they have things, or like when it's yellow and purple generals, you know, your bow doesn't work so well. But we really just let her get jumped by cavalry. We weren't able to defend her. They had a lot of cav, right? They had, you know, 6 cav units, which is more than we had. Yeah, may not know how to use the bomber units, yeah. Probably considers them a different kind of unit type of thing.
不杀干净，必留后患，全杀掉，省得回来报仇。
You'll take the military supplies because we need them.
偿我们的。
And here, they're on the river to try to come in here to invade it, which is crazy. Like, this is such a bad plan. Lu Bu crucially goes from 0 military supplies to 8 over the end turn, which very well may put us into a position where we don't take the negatives that we would have had from having 0 for the end of the turn. That jug has come of age. The Yuzhun has become formidable. And they did indeed suffer attrition. Warglaive, Noble's Leather, Devious Attendant, and a whole million things got built. Good, good, good.
开战，闻风而动，雷厉风行，一统天下。 大义将临，莫敢不从。只有稳固发展，人们才会交口称赞。万物失节。
So we'll just put them a little bit outside.
给我上报军情。
Because they'll still be somewhat positive next turn. The low faction support is a problem, but we can just do a little persuasion of the gentry. Not with Zhuge Pian, she's too important. We'll persuade the gentry here down to 10 foods, because these folks never make enough foods. Here, will we take the bonus? I mean, why not, right? I guess we can go strategic fortress so that we can move further and to reduce the military supplies of the foes, and that's good for this place specifically because, I mean, well... Well, but you know, as good as that is, it really hurts them if they're coming up from this way and not from this way. We probably just won't spend the money and keep it there. That'll let us, you know... The military supplies and adjacent commanderies will be very good, you know, as we move forward. Lu Bu gets to level 8, and of course that'll earn him... Imperial forces. Oh wow, it's super expensive. That's right. We'll wait. The faction support. But they won't be back over here soon, and, you know, before long we'll be getting there. What we want to do is... Like, no, these don't provide military supplies. It's reserves. And the reserves will go up soon enough anyway. Yeah. No, it does military supplies. That's the increase provisions. So we will increase the provisions. Hey, ironic, stole the Liu Chong campaign. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You've caught me at the end of the video, but yes, it's good to see you. Liu Chong has fallen to winter, and, you know, he died in the winter of 214. As he died, Cao Cao, no sooner than the funeral had been concluded, you know, turned against us and attacked. The Prince Liu Xie has just grown up and won his first duel against Li Jian. It lasted for like 10 minutes. It was very, very cool. And we've got Diao Chan running around with Luo Jun and Zhu Huang instead now. And Luo Tong inherited the prince's own retinue. And typical Cao Cao, indeed. Indeed. But he's down over here. Never mind. He got tuned up by the forces of Liu Yao here. Sima Yi is, you know, maybe going to get vengeance, maybe not. But yeah, so we've just now taken Guzong here at Wuwei, and the quest to cleanse the curse of the Yellow River is in full effect. Huang Zhong lives another year, my man. These armies cannot hope to defeat this garrison. They cannot at all hope to defeat this garrison, so we can just move Yufalo up. They are a non-entity now. And this army is quite capable of beating any one of these armies, even though it might struggle with two. But yeah, so we'll go up here and hopefully run into Liu Biao and be able to execute him, unless, you know, for all I know, he might have fallen to winter as well. Zhengxiang, why didn't you join me? I wouldn't have given you a good job because it wouldn't have fit the story, but I love you. I mean, I would have given you a job, not like a good job. Speaking of a good job, Liu Bei, oh, look at that. With our, see, he was bankrupt, and then we discounted him, and Zhongfei came in, and it looks like Yuan Tan and the other army of Yuan Shao got popped over there, and that means that we can move through the forces to try to hit Yang Liang over there? Maybe. The prince levels up to level 4, gets Tenacity of Steel. That'll help out a lot. Of course, when you have a person as the administrator, I believe they get experience whenever a building finishes. And since we have huge population, and Guoxia is married to the Kuang lady, who gives you -2 turns, it's very, very quick to get building experience there. Alright, the winter of 215. Cao Hong has run down over here. We can't reach him quite in time. That means we will just move to ambush there. And we just sort of bolt out with this army because I am not afraid of anything. I'm afraid of plenty of stuff with plenty of armies. I am not afraid of anything with this army. I mean, what are they gonna do? We got 6 Imperial Gate Guards, we got Luo Jun, and we got Zhu Huang here. What are they gonna bring? At most, they'll bring what? Both of these armies? Come get some. But I don't think Cao Hong will want to leave with these armies out of the gate, right? If he does, then we'll just fight him here. We'll have a very crummy garrison, which gets much stronger in a turn. But yeah, they'll be in some trouble there. Cao Hong staying at the river here is much desirable. Liu Xie has long been, you know, guarding it as well. We can move Mi Hung You know, this way, you know, the truths laid bare, his mockery will be very useful
各就各位。
as we move up into the future here. The year is 215 and all is well. Sun Chi still kicking it. She is a swashbuckling swordswoman. And Sun Jian's sister. And their family tree is, you know, overlapping there. I'm just glad we get to see some of it, right? And of course, the hardest thing in the world is finding your cursor when you're on this screen. Speaking of, if we could only find Sun Jian and put him to the sword, then we would be able to get the seal. But he is with Yo Tu last we saw, and that guy, I don't even know where he's from. You know, Professor. Well, yeah, the family tree. You know, it's nice to be able to see it, but sometimes it gets a little messy, right? But oh, what a wonderful time. I don't want to go to bed. It's because I took a nap today. But I do need to go to bed. Because if anything else interesting happens and I get excited, I will wake up the dog. Now, that is not desirable. But that's everything for the winter. We can actually... Oh, no! An army over here. Do we think Hong Nong could beat this army? I mean, it looks slightly better than the other one. More cavalry. It's hard for this garrison to deal with the cavalry. Oh, right. These guys are just chilling here. You know, they can... Sunbin and all of them, they can go in this direction. They were up here to show the flag a bit, but... You know, Sung Jian is probably going to regret... Or Sung Jian... Yuan Shao's going to regret that Sung Jian is working for him and that he got dragged over this way, because I don't think he's doing himself any favors by pushing his armies in that direction. For all he knows, the Koreans might come up and start taking all of his land. It could happen. It's not intended for characters who are part of faction studies. Ah, I see, I see. More like a... You know, this guy is just his own thing, and these are his kids type of stuff. Yeah, for sure. There are a couple times I'm like, can I scroll over? Nope, well, that's all right. Because the faction leader tree, you can just look through the faction leader tree and see it there. Like here. Or she's not really my adopted daughter, and that's not really my adopted son. But these are our kids here. Right. It's very useful too if you restore the Han, because then you can go see your family tree still. Because Liu Chong otherwise, like, it would be like, wait, is that my kid? How do I find out? But yeah, I found it very useful for this type of thing. So we get to see, you know, our youngest is growing up. You know, we only had we had 4 children. Li Lin is the one who was the emperor's heir before their son, who Liu Ji named Liu Bong, and I laughed and laughed and laughed, was born. But of course, now the bouncing baby boy at 4 years old is the heir, as it should be. Speaking of things as they should be, I guess we'll just spend... No, we need to... Go up this way. This should be traded. I mean, by rights, it should go back to Wu Ling, because he can use it the best. Liu Yao is doing pretty bad. So yeah, she's been running around. She's like level 4. 39 years old. Spiteful. Relentless. Spiteful and cheerful. That's me, right? That's my personality. Stern, spiteful, relentless, cheerful, dutiful, and scarred. I do have a cool scar on my cheek. It makes me look tough. It's just because I had to go to a doctor. You know, it was... everything was fine. But it does make me look tough. Sometimes people look at it and I can tell they're like, oh man, is this guy tough? Is he tough enough to get into the saltiest spittoon? The answer is, I mean, maybe.
秩序井然，则四海可定。
But here we just need to array things in the north a little bit. And his army, though it's beat up, you know, they'll be put back together in no time once we take over. The faction support's there, and then they'll be ready to press on against the foe. You're gonna dip. Oh, good night, Ironic. I am also about to dip. That'll do it. We're just gonna build some buildings and call it a night. But good to see you. Hope you enjoyed. Perhaps we'll see you later on. Probably gonna be playing a chunk of this tomorrow. Or wait, we can convert? No. Because we want the upper level building. We can convert it to the -2% everywhere building when we get there. If we get there. Food is good. Industry over commerce, yes. All right. Well, and that is the year 215. And when we return tomorrow, we'll do this battle where these guys, where I have towers and narrow hallways to defend. Yeah, let them come. They'll be breaking against our fortress like water on rock. Yu Zhen's here, we're gonna beat him up. Cao Xiu's here, we're gonna beat him up. All of these fools. Towers there are always Imperial Gate Guards and Imperial Sword Guards with 92% physical evasion. Good luck, guys. I'm sure this close defeat is going to happen. We've even got Diao Chan here in case we get hurt a little bit. Oh, it's going to be a party, alright. We'll try to get Zhu Hong a duel early against, like, Cao Hong and, you know, to get a heal out of him. Yu Zhen will want to, you know, catch with cavalry and give him the beatdown on ground or something. But obviously, with narrow hallways and towers, it's going to be quite easy for us to crunch these fools. Anyway, that's all I've got for you right now. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Selena, Luke, Ironic, nice to see you all. Ironic, great honor for you to be here, and we'll have to see how that family tree script works out. Luke, always a pleasure. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow. And Selena, good to see you as well. Ellie, if you're around, a good night. I hope the Mandate of Heaven stays with us forever, and so on. But anyway, I'll see you guys. I can't wake up if I don't go to sleep, so I'm gonna get on that. Good night, everyone.